Welcome back to the deep dive. You've handed us a fascinating stack of sources this week that captures the AI industry not just in motion, but in outright collision.
It really is.
We're seeing a highly competitive, even dramatic landscape where, technical breakthroughs and these very human talent battles are all happening at the same time.
It's never dull. I think the mission for this deep dive is to really distill these chaotic signals into clear, actionable intelligence for you.
Okay.
We're focusing on three major knowledge nuggets that truly define the frontier right now.
Oh.
So first, the intense, high-stakes talent wars, and we see that perfectly with the movements between OpenAI and thinking machines.
Right, the drama there was something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Second, we're going to talk about the moment autonomous coding agents just shattered what seemed like a capability wall by building these colossal software projects.
And finally.
And finally, we're tracking OpenAI's aggressive new investment strategy. It's dragging the entire industry directly into the brain-computer interface battleground.
I think the biggest surprise for me in the sources is just how interwoven the personal drama is with the technical innovation. It's like these people are the technology, and the sources show exactly what happens when those personal stakes get, totally maximized.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with that talent merry-go-round, the one involving Mira Murati's venture, Thinking Machines Lab.
This was a rapid, almost dizzying turn of events. And it really just underscores the cutthroat nature of AI recruiting. So Thinking Machines recently parted ways with its co-founder and CTO, Barrett Suff.
And this wasn't just a quiet exit, right?
Not at all. This exit happened amid some serious internal friction. Specifically, there were reports alleging that Zuff was accused of sharing proprietary information with competitors.
That is corporate drama at its highest pitch. But here's the astonishing boomerang effect. Within hours of his exit from Thinking Machines, Zoff, and several other staffers who left with him?
They were back inside the walls of OpenAI.
Hours later.
Correct. The speed was the defining characteristic. OpenAI's application CEO, Fidji Simo, she welcomed them back publicly. She even confirmed that OAI had been in active discussions with Zuff for several weeks before the public split.
Wow.
It just highlights an astonishing level of planning and aggression in securing talent.
Okay, so help us understand the mechanics and, I guess, the optics of that return. This wasn't just a friendly resignation. There were the allegations of proprietary information sharing. What does it signal to the rest of the industry that OpenAI is willing to bring back a high-profile researcher under such controversial, very public circumstances?
It signals desperation, frankly, but in the most sophisticated way possible. It reinforces this idea that for these frontier labs, the people, they're the intellectual property.
The IP walks out the door with them.
Exactly. The ability of a handful of top researchers to accelerate or decelerate a model's development cycle is worth more than any potential PR risk, or even the risk of internal friction. They are aggressively securing top human capital. You hear that internal saying that OAI is nothing without its people, and this just proves it's a guiding principle in their strategy.
And in the meantime, Murati had to execute a rapid response over at Thinking Machines.
She did. To steady the ship, she immediately elevated Samith Chintala as the new CTO.
And he's a big name.
A very heavy hitter.
Yeah.
A longtime Meta AI researcher and one of the creators of the PyTorch framework, which is, foundational to so much of modern AI development. It was an immediate move to demonstrate stability and continued technical firepower.
But if we look at the bigger picture here, as you mentioned, this is becoming a pattern, isn't it? Zoff's exit marks the third co-founder departure for Thinking Machines in less than a year. Andrew Tulloch moved to Meta last October.
And if we connect this to the broader competitive ecosystem, it suggests that even these well-funded, high-profile startups founded by top-tier talent, they struggle immensely to retain those key individuals when the giants like OpenAI and Meta are actively poaching.
It shows a real fragility.
A potential fragility, absolutely. In these smaller, newer labs, they're constantly fighting a war of attrition for their most valuable asset. The talent market is so hot that even accusations of IP sharing become secondary to the objective of just having that person on your team, not the competitors.
That's a powerful insight. So the human drama shows us the high stakes, but what are these people actually building that's worth all this fighting? And that takes us perfectly to the purely technical frontier. Here's where it gets really interesting. The autonomous agent capability breakthrough demonstrated by the team at Cursor.
This is a huge signal that the tools themselves are fundamentally changing the economics of software development. Cursor published a new blog post detailing an experiment where they deployed hundreds of their AI coding agents, and they were running completely autonomously for weeks on end.
And this wasn't just them, like, debugging code that already existed.
No,
No.
no. These agents were tasked with massive greenfield projects, building entirely new systems from scratch.
And the scale of what they achieved it's staggering. They used a new model, GPT 5.2, and in less than a week, those autonomous agents produced a web browser built entirely from the ground up.
A browser that successfully loaded simple websites. And the total project was logged at over 3 million lines of code.
3 million lines of code. Can you put that in perspective for us?
To put that in perspective for you, that is roughly equivalent to the size of, say, the initial release of the Linux kernel or a modern operating system's kernel. The fact that an autonomous system managed that scale and complexity in a matter of days, it just fundamentally redefines the timeline for project feasibility.
So what enabled that kind of scale? It wasn't just the model itself, it was the architecture, correct?
Absolutely. The architecture is the crucial piece of the puzzle here. The agents were organized into these specialized roles. You had planners, workers, and judges.
Okay, so planners, workers, and judges, what do they each do?
The planner sets the overall project goals and breaks them down into subtasks. The workers, they execute the code and implement the features. But crucially, the judges act as the internal quality control.
Ah, so they're the editors.
Exactly. Critiquing, debugging, providing feedback on the worker's output. That ensures the system stays on track and maintains coherence over these long multi-week runs. This structured, collaborative workflow is what moves AI development way beyond single-turn prompt engineering.
And they didn't just build a browser. The sources mention other colossal projects completed by these agents. I think there was a Windows 7 emulator.
And an Excel clone, yeah. Each clocking in at over 1 million lines of code.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights a critical performance reality among these frontier models.
It does. Cursor noted that GPT 5.2 handled these long-duration, high-coordination tasks significantly better than a rival like Claude Opus 4.5. The sources indicated that Claude tended to take shortcuts or suffer from reduced output quality during these extended autonomous runs.
That distinction is key. So it's evidence that the capability wall for truly autonomous, large-scale, multi-week software projects has been decisively broken.
But only by the most advanced, coherent models, yes.
The implication for you, whether you're running a startup or managing a large development team, is just enormous.
Totally. When agents can coordinate for weeks and crush multi-million line projects, the entire cost structure and the timeline of software development shifts. This is no longer just theoretical automation. This is mass production of complex software.
Okay, speaking of shifting frontiers, let's turn to the third major theme. OpenAI is now moving into a new physical domain, the brain-computer interface sector. And with Sam Altman involved, this is immediately going to become a competitive battleground.
It already has. OpenAI announced a new seed investment into a company called Merge Labs. It's a BCI startup that just came out of stealth alongside just a staggering $252 million raise.
And OpenAI is the lead.
They're confirmed as the company's single largest backer, yes.
Now, the technical approach here is what makes Merge Labs such a fascinating rival to the current BCI leader, Neuralink. Merge Labs is aiming to boost BCI bandwidth using ultrasound and specially engineered proteins. And crucially, they are explicitly skipping the surgical brain implants that rivals require.
That non-invasive approach is the major differentiator. Think of it this way. Instead of drilling and inserting electrodes, which is what Neuralink does, Merge Labs is working on a system where sound waves, ultrasound, can communicate with those engineered proteins inside the brain.
So you're reading brain signals without the enormous surgical barrier.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And the team context is also critical here. It includes Alex Blania and Sandra Herbig from World Tools for Humanity, alongside top researchers from Caltech. This is a very heavy-hitting team, and they're all dedicated to this non-surgical path.
But on the BCI front, I have to ask, isn't this non-invasive approach just Sam Altman throwing massive money at what might be a slower, less reliable solution than Neuralink's proven, albeit riskier, invasive technology? What's the fundamental trade-off they're accepting here?
That raises a crucial question. And the trade-off is often between bandwidth and accessibility. So invasive solutions like Neuralink offer incredibly high resolution and bandwidth because the electrodes are, physically touching the neuron.
All right, a direct connection.
A direct connection. Non-invasive solutions, like these ultrasound-based BCIs, they promise mass accessibility, safety, and a much faster path to market. But they've traditionally struggled to match the signal quality of direct implants.
Okay, so OpenAI is betting that its advanced AI models can compensate for that lower quality signal.
That's the bet. They're betting they can get better at interpreting and filtering the noisy brain data that comes from the non-invasive method. So OpenAI's strategy is to develop the AI models and tools specifically to help merge labs translate those signals.
Mm.
They're arguing that BCIs will be a natural, human-centered way to interact with AI.
And this brings the personal and corporate rivalry full circle, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Sam Altman, through this investment, has dragged his long-standing competitive dynamic with Elon Musk directly into the BCI sector. We now have two distinct philosophies battling it out.
You've got Musk's surgical high bandwidth approach versus Altman's high accessibility non-surgical approach.
Backed by superior AI interpretation, it's setting the stage for a dramatic technological showdown.
It feels like every major technical frontier, agents, foundation models, and now the human interface, is rapidly becoming a direct battleground between the same core players and their very distinct philosophies.
That convergence defines the current competitive environment. But there's a lot happening just outside of that direct rivalry, and it provides some really crucial context.
Okay, let's pull back slightly and provide some of that essential context on the broader competitive landscape.
Right.
Yeah.
So on the software agent front, we saw the release of OpenWork. It's a free, open source, computer use AI agent that runs right on your desktop.
And its main claims are speed and security.
Exactly. 4 times faster than Claude for Chrome is the claim, and more secure because it runs within an isolated browser environment to reduce the risk of prompt injection attacks. It's available now on macOS, and it shows the open source community is quickly catching up in terms of agent functionality.
And the healthcare AI race is accelerating significantly. Google launched Magema 1.5. This is highly important because it is the first publicly available open source medical AI model capable of interpreting these complex 3D scans, CTs, MRIs, that kind of thing.
And this isn't just a science project. This accelerates drug discovery, diagnostic capability. Google is positioning Magema as the foundational layer for medical intelligence, and they're challenging the established players like ChatGPT Health by offering these models openly for research.
We also saw major movement in fundamental scientific modeling. ByteDance released Seedfold?
Yes, a new open-source protein structure prediction model, and it's already outperforming Google's AlphaFold 3 across several key benchmarks.
Which was considered the industry standard.
It was. The speed of iteration in these foundation models is just immense. It shows how quickly a proprietary scientific advantage can be neutralized by a new open-source entrant that's backed by, well, immense compute power.
And speaking of talent, we need to note the appointment of Ahmad Al-Daleh, the former Meta head of generative AI who led the development of the Llama model family, as Airbnb's new CTO.
That is a massive transfer of top-tier AI leadership into a major consumer platform.
And the funding is still pouring in.
It is. AI creative platform Higgsfield announced a $130 million funding round, hitting a $1.3 billion valuation. Their claim of being one of the fastest-scaling AI companies in history certainly draws attention to the commercial potential of creative platforms.
Even Elon Musk had to acknowledge the competition. He specifically revealed that Grok 4.20 will lag behind Anthropic's Claude in coding tasks.
Admitting that Anthropic has done something special in that specific domain. That kind of public concession, it speaks volumes about the specialized capabilities these leading models are developing.
And finally, a practical step for developers. Replit launched mobile app creation.
Which is huge. It allows users to build, test via a QR code, and publish directly to the App Store from one single platform. It just simplifies the deployment pipeline so much, especially for independent developers.
That platform shift will be a massive time saver for mobile developers, especially if they're looking to leverage these new agentic coding capabilities we were just talking about. Okay, let's conclude with a brief look at some practical tools that leverage these advancements right now.
Sure. If you're looking to tap into the large-scale translation models, you have excellent options now. ChatGPT Translate is robust. It handles text, voice, or images across over 50 languages.
And the open source alternative.
Google's new family of open translation models, Translate Gemma. It provides powerful functionality that you can implement in your own systems.
And for bringing those agent capabilities we discussed to your daily work.
Claude Cowork. It's designed to integrate the agentic power of Claude Code into everyday non-coding tasks, making that large model collaboration a lot more seamless.
They're finally in the automation space.
If you're trying to connect those multi-step workflows, you should look at Turbotic. It lets users turn complex workflow ideas into functional automations in minutes using AI, which dramatically accelerates the creation of new business processes.
So, what does this all mean? We've seen the extraordinary value placed on human talent at the very top, leading to these high stakes acquisitions. We've confirmed the validated capability of autonomous agents to build complex, massive software projects in days. And we've seen this aggressive move by OpenAI to wire those advanced AI systems directly into the human brain via BCI technology.
That's the entire stack being built simultaneously. The high-level synthesis is this. The industry is consolidating around the idea of instantaneous, full-stack human-to-AI interaction.
Okay.
So given that AI agents are now capable of building functional multi-million-line web browsers in days, and OpenAI is simultaneously investing in BTI technology designed to read human intent non-invasively.
Hmm.
The real question is this. If an AI can read your mind and write 3 million lines of code in a week, what is left for the human developer to do?
Wow.
That convergence of intent reading and autonomous execution, that is the paradigm shift you should be mulling over right now.